It's Friday, March 22nd, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On Barnstable Today, we take a look back at a successful youth summit last week, learn more about coyote mating season with animal control, and there is still time to register for the summer leisure program. Now for a look at municipal news and notes. Registration for kindergarten is now open. To enroll your child in kindergarten for September 2019, please visit the Barnstable Public School District website to begin the online registration process. Do not delay. Pre-screening dates are coming up fast. Barnstable West Barnstable is scheduled for May 10th, Centerville May 15th, West Villages May 17th, High West May 20th, Barnstable Innovation School May 28th. More information, www.barnstable.k12.ma.us. Over 400 7th grade students from Barnstable Intermediate School spent an action-packed day at Cape Cod Community College last Friday, learning valuable skills for high school. The annual event was produced by the Barnstable Youth Commission and focused on strategies to deal with substance abuse and peer pressure.
Proud and happy of our Youth Commission. They're an amazing group of people, and what they put together is nothing but a miracle.
I mean, overall, we try to keep the main ideas the same. It's about making good decisions, preparing your kids for going into high school and kind of the decisions they'll have to make there, and overall just really pushing that idea of prevention and making good choices.
Before I do this, I have permission? Good? Yeah. All right. Hold that right over your head, 2 hands. Thank you so much, Lucy. And your name? Nick. Nick. All right, Nick. Nick has no idea what horrible things he just agreed to. First lesson, get all the information first. Here's what you just agreed to, Nick. In a second, you're going to flip the coin, catch it, turn it, that's it. Then you're going to put your health and well-being in Lucy's hands. Literally. Because inside that envelope, there's one piece of paper that says heads or it says tails. If it matches, you get nothing. If it's wrong, I get to punch you square in the face as hard as I can. You get nothing about it. I don't want to do it. I don't agree with it. But he already agreed. You got the coin? Excellent. Flip it up in the air. Turn it. You can take a look at what it is. You can say what it is nice and loud. Heads. Heads. Lucy, you can see. One piece of paper. You can take it out. Nothing else in there. And it says? Heads. Heads. That's always the reaction. Everybody's like, oh, I want to get punched in the face. All right. 3 quick lessons. 1, before you agree to something, get all the information first. Think about the peer pressure skip. If you know what to expect, you can either avoid the situation, or you can at least prepare your answer. And when it comes to peer pressure, the only way to avoid it is being able to make the decision beforehand. Think about it before now, right? Before you actually get there, if I'm in a situation, there's other people, like if you're going to a party, you're going to go hang out with friends, have that in the back of your head. Like, what happens if? You prepare your answer, and that way when you get in the situation, you don't have to make a decision, because you've already made it. 2, don't put your health and well-being in somebody else's hands. One person looking out for you. You. Unlike parents and often, and trained medical professionals. 3, this is the big one. Nick, you knew I was going to punch you in the face, or you were going to get nothing, based on flipping the coin, right? Yeah. Why'd you flip the coin? Go! You see his face? Oh, man! And that's the thing. You have nothing to gain, but everything to lose. If you don't have anything to gain, don't flip the coin. And when you find yourself in that bad situation, get out. Give them both a nice round of applause. You guys got to
I create the presentation in a way that more or less looked at, not just saying like, don't do drugs, don't do it, but it's more about, all right, what are the issues that you face? You know, why do some people turn to things like drugs and alcohol, vaping, etc., and trying to understand, okay, these are the reasons, so here are the other ways out. Here's what you can do to help you through those difficult situations, and that's why I really like to focus on.
One of the things that we went over today is making sure that you empower yourself and have good friends around you. Your peers are the ones that you are friends with, so you need to find a group that has ideals the same as yours. and the ideals that are going to perpetuate you to make the best decisions possible so that you can be successful in life.
The best thing you can do is just talk to someone. I'm not saying it has to be your parents. It can be, but not everyone's comfortable with that. And, talking with your friends or talking to a teacher, really just anyone, just talking and discussing and thinking about it is really something that helps you reflect and go forward remembering what you have learned here today.
I had all these things that happened to me as a kid that I experienced, these self-esteem issues, these insecurities, these racing thoughts because I'm ADHD. Then at 31 years old, they take all the drugs away, and I'm like that 13-year-old kid again. I'm not okay. And I can only hang in there for so long before I seek relief. And that's why I kept relapsing over and over the years. This time I bought into recovery, and I found healthy ways to deal with anxiety and depression. And I can get ramped up like this. Whoa. I can start talking a little bit slower. I can take a breath. I can literally chill myself right out. I can bring the whole energy in the room down by just changing the way that I talk, by changing the tempo of my speech. And I can talk myself off a cliff now. I can go backwards. It's called mindfulness, meditation, breathing. I could never do that my whole life, not my child life, not my adolescent life, not my adult life. So when I found marijuana and alcohol, it kind of took the edge off. See, alcohol and drugs are temporary solutions to a bigger problem. If you have anxiety, you have depression, you have self-esteem issues, you have trauma, you have family stuff, we have to find healthy ways to deal with that. We have to find healthy, holistic ways to deal with the way that we feel, because if we don't, and you start to dibble-dabble and experiment with these other substances, you will find yourself going down this bad road of self-medication.
One of the things is coming up with strategies to put yourself in a situation when somebody hands you, as Kevin says, I'm going to your friend hands you a joint and you take a puff. I don't even know what that is. But I take it anyway, or do you have an excuse, or do you have a way out? And you have to have that way out so that you don't engage in the activity that you don't want to be a part of. And that was part of it, is coming up with those strategies for vaping. If somebody hands you the vape, you don't even know half the time. These kids don't know what it is, but they'll try it because their friend is doing it, and then they don't have a way out because they're not prepared. So let's prepare them. Let's prepare them to make that decision.
So if someone comes up to you and is like, yo, Kev, you want to try this vape, this cigarette, this thing, that? I'm like, yo, my man, I would, but I just went to this group and this dude, Kevin Rosario, talked about genetic predisposition. My prefrontal lobe is not fully developed. I'm not willing to take that risk. You gotta practice it. You gotta practice like, yo, my man, I would, but come to find out, I got an underdeveloped prefrontal lobe and I'm at an increased risk. I'm not trying to go down that road. Right? If you work on that, and some dude comes up to you with a joint or a vape or whatever, and you hit him with some genetic predisposition, increased risk stuff, he's like, well, you're gonna walk away. He doesn't know what to do. He's so confused. Like, what? Predisposition? Whatever, man. He's gonna walk away. You scare him away with science, right? But to go back to what my man said, have excuses locked and loaded, right? I'm a student. I'm an athlete. I got asthma. Whatever the case may be. Like, you can have some issues, right?
There's so many more influences now. There's social media, the other kids in school. It's just such a different time. So they have a lot of pressures going on now. So to get that to them early and to educate them early on the subject. I mean, they see it every day in the news. They see it on social media. They live it. I mean, it's here. We know as adults we know how to handle it a lot better now because we've already been through it. And these kids now are just so pushed into it so quickly that it's very important for us to get the word out early to them.
At the beginning of the year, you saw the kids probably making some bad decisions. As the year progressed, they start trusting the adults in the building and coming to you and saying, hey, this is going on, can we talk about it? They go to guidance a lot, which is phenomenal, and it's good. You see them actually growing in their age and their maturity.
So your kids just came home with all this overwhelming information. They want to talk to you about it. So engage them. Say, hey, well, what happened at the youth summit? Don't say, how was the day? Because they're going to say good or bad. You need to open-ended questions that they have to answer, and ask them there were four classes that they went to. What did you do at lunch? So they went to 4 classes. Find out what each class was. Make them tell you that.
First of all, the parents need to learn all they can learn. about the dangers of drugs and or alcohol. But there's the police, there's several different professionals, organizations all over, and resources, especially right here in the Cape. There's resources from, down Cape, up Cape. You have Gosnell, you have mentors, you have, I can go all day on the organizations that are around to help. And the parents need to realize and go out and find those. If you have trouble, come to the police, because we are in touch with every organization you can think of.
The Youth Summit and what the kids put together and help organize is an amazing thing. I love the fact that, getting all this, especially, the 7th grade that's coming here, being able to meet other people in the community, hear all the lessons, get them prepped and understand what to expect as they move on from middle school and all the way into high school. I think it's being able to take the initiative and having the ownership, I think is a huge thing for students, and it shows that leadership and being able to get involved, and I think it makes a great difference in the community.
You have heard them howling for several weeks now. Coyotes are in mating season. Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis shares important and educational information on these animals and keeping you and your family safe. It's coyote season. You've heard them out there. With me today, Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis. Charlie, they're barking up a storm at this time of year, aren't they?
Yes, they are. It's the breeding season. It lasts for another probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then the pups will be here in late May. We'll start to see the little ones out July, and that's when the real howling begins. The parents trying to teach them how to hunt.
Really? So let's talk a little bit about this time of year, some precautions that people can take with their own animals while, obviously the coyotes are out there prowling their neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's because it is breeding season. They're probably not going to be as active food-wise. The females tend to be a little, probably more so than the males. So we don't really necessarily have to worry about the bigger dogs, but little dogs still, and the cats, we should really keep them close to home. I don't recommend putting out any dog whatsoever at night. Of course, after 10 o'clock at night, you have to be with the dog, and only 15 minutes is allowed anyway, unless you're walking with the dog. But, generally speaking, that time of night is when these guys are very active because of the breeding season, all the way through even daytime now. Right. So I would not leave a dog outdoors unattended.
Where are you seeing coyotes at this time of year?
We're seeing a big uptake in the Cotuit area along Route 28 and the Mashpee Town line. We've had some calls from people with concerns out that way. We're seeing them in Centerville, off of Finney's Lane, Great Marsh Road area, all along Race Lane. When you get out towards Crooked Cartway and the conservation area that way, all the way through to the airport area, Town Golf Course. We're getting a number of calls now.
And the coyotes themselves, let's give viewers some characteristics. There's always some, misconceptions about what coyotes look like.
Yeah, actually the new term is coy wolf, right. I certainly would dispute that. There is definitely a difference between the size of the animals. When we talk about coyotes, we're talking they can be up to 60 pounds, but more likely they range the males from, say, 30 to 45, and the females will probably be anywhere 10 pounds lighter. Generally speaking, the males are taller and skinnier than the females. Females tend to be lower to the ground.
And what's their coloring?
It can be anything from blonde to dark black, anything in between. They'll have white spots. Most of the time, though, they're on the reddish brown with like the black tip.
And what would happen, or can you give some advice either with an animal or not with an animal, if you're out walking and you encounter one of these coyotes, what should a person do?
Make a lot of noise. Make them so it's uncomfortable. You know, waving your arms, screaming at them, picking up a tennis ball, throwing it at them. They're so quick you won't hit them. I tell that to people all the time, and they go, "Oh, I don't want to hit it." Well, chances are you won't. And if you're throwing a tennis ball, it's not going to hurt them all that much. There are other methods. You know, if you got some kind of thing in your hand, you can take and bang it. You know, that type of thing. But waving your arms with a hat in your hand, hose. Of course, this time of year we don't have gardens out, so we're not going to have a hose running as such. But you know, you just got to make them uncomfortable.
Okay. And then with coyotes, are they a protected species?
Yes, they are. They're considered fur-bearing by the state, so there is actually a hunting season on them. I suggest that we probably see more interactions with cars, vehicle traffic where they get hit versus anything else. But there are no natural predators for them other than the weather.
Other than the weather, right.
Yeah.
And are they out more when it's super cold or as it warms up a little bit?
That's always hard to say. I think their food habits and their eating habits dictate that. If it's real cold and snowy, stormy, they're not going to be out, just like we're not going to be out. But right afterwards, yes, they're going to be moving around, because if they're in the den site for a day or two, they're going to come out and they're going to be a little more hungry than not.
Right.
So
And
that's when we really have to be observant for our pets.
right, and this, you said that breeding season lasts for another 3 weeks or so?
Yeah, approximately. Generally speaking, the first couple of weeks of March can be, even all the way to the end. In fact, luck would have it, in Woods Hole this past week, there was a discovery underneath one of the trailers out there at Woods Hole Oceanograph of a litter of fox pups.
Wow,
kids.
that's a little early.
Well, I think it's late.
Late?
Yeah, they're probably 5 months old, 4 months old, somewhere in there.
Wow.
And I think they stayed together because of the lateness. But see, foxes, generally speaking, leave after 3 months, whereas coyotes tend to be here from when they're born in late May, early June, all the way to September or through fall. They'll stay as a family unit before their young are given the boot.
And any other last advice for folks that they should know about this season and about this beautiful animal? They're gorgeous.
Yeah. The one thing I would stress is that you want to keep all your pet foods indoors. If you have to feed outside, watch the animal. When they get through eating, pick it up and remove it. Keep the garbage cans or lids on tight. Coyotes will knock them over, just like a raccoon will. Keep them at bay that way. And probably one of the biggest things, and it's fairly easy to do this time of year, and that's brushing back any kind of brushy brush that you have adjacent to your homes or your property lines. I know this time of year is when I go out and I take and cut all the bullbriars that just grow through the summer. They're easy to find, the vines this way, and not so much with the leaves. And the thorns don't seem to be as sharp this time of year, but I just recommend cutting all that stuff back, because if a coyote can see you, it's less likely to come that close. It'll stay back. Just like if we see it, they know. They can sense that we're here. When people attempt to go outside to get a picture, if the minute they open the door, that coyote takes off. So, you know, that's what we want. We want them to be leery of us and just keep making that noise to move them along.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Charlie.
Okay.
The beach, field trips, arts and crafts, and lifelong memories. Summer enrollment for the Barnstable Recreation Summer Leisure Program is open and sites are filling up fast. Mickey Davies, Therapeutic Program Coordinator, has all the details. Well, now that it's spring, we're starting to think summer here in the town of Barnstable. That's right, Summer Leisure Program. Registration happening really quick. With me today, Therapeutic Program Director Mickey Davies. You think about in summer yet?
Of course I'm thinking about summer. Christmas goes and summer hits, isn't it? Christmas is done. Now it's time to start summer.
Exactly.
So definitely, yes, yes.
Leisure program, do you have your sites all settled?
We do. We have our sites all settled, and I want to let people know when they're registering this year what is available for you to register for. We have a site for children entering grades 1 through 5 at the West Barnstable Elementary. We also are again, luckily, back at the Barnstable Community Horace Mann Charter Public School for grades 1 through 5. Centerville Recreation, Centerville Elementary, and the Barnstable United Elementary are all going to be for kids entering grades 1 through 5 in the fall. If you have a child who's entering into grade 6, you would like to register over at BIS, and 7 and 8 is also held at the BIS school.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So there's places for everybody.
Yeah, depending upon where you live or what's convenient or your way to work, there really should be a location that's going to fit, you know, hopefully your needs to be able to drop your child off.
Let's talk a little bit about the recreation, the leisure program itself, since not all parents maybe have done this in the past. So let's give us an overview. What happens when they're in this program?
Okay, first I want to tell them that registration starts on Tuesday because I don't want to miss out. Tuesday, March 19th, 8:45 in the morning. You can come into the HYCC, but we recommend that you register online. It really is quite simple to just go on the recreation webpage and register your child there. When you register online, we send you a registration packet that looks like this with all the information that we'll need for your child for the summer. It's a fillable form. You save it as something, and then you email it right back to me. And we really try to make it convenient for all the parents to be able to do this. So that's when registration starts. Now, the program itself, we try to do as many things as we can in the summer. We really want to balance it out with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So there are some arts and crafts activities. There are lots of games in the gymnasium and outdoor in the fields. We usually go to the beach 2 to 3 times a week, and we use all of the different beaches here in Barnstable, and have great relationships, of course, with our Barnstable lifeguards and beach staff. So it really feels very community to us and really team. And we also usually do like one large field trip a week, which may be something like Water Whiz or to the Roger Williams Zoo.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, oh, fun stuff. To the Launch Trampoline Park or maybe a whale watch. But there's always something big every week. And then there may be a smaller field trip that we're involved in, like Kids Day, that's more local, that we can go to too. Or we may have our own field day, or we may do something at the high school to support them if their theater department is doing something. So something not as big where we're not traveling as much, but still great fun. And we also have usually a cookout at every site in the summer, and end the summer with the bang of the talent show on the Village Green.
That is a blast.
It is a blast. And it is amazing how much talent we have, you know. America doesn't have talent. Barnstable. Barnstable's got talent. So you guys should come by and see that on the Village Green. And that usually ends out our last week.
Okay, let's talk dates.
Okay. The leisure program this year is going to run from July 1st to August 16th, which is my wedding anniversary, so it's a very lucky day. And my husband will be thrilled. And then we take the 4th of July off, so nobody is at the leisure program on the 4th of July. So spend that day with your children. The cost is $9.25 this year, and that's for one child, and that's for a Barnstable resident.
Okay.
Now, if you are a non-resident, you will have to pay double that fee. And our non-resident registration, let me see, that starts on April 23rd, will be our non-resident registration, and that would be for $1,850 for your child, which still is an unbelievable bargain if you look for the pricing out there for day programs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are definitely one of the least expensive and best camps all in one. So, you know, we really take pride in what we can give you and that we spend every cent you give us back on your children.
Right.
So.
And it's funny to say a lot of your counselors have been your program participants over the years.
Oh, yes, they can't wait. They get out of their 8th grade leisure program time, and there's 2 years that they have to wait before they can apply. And I absolutely love to see them come back. We opened in February, so if you're looking for a job as a summer leisure program counselor, you can go right onto the town website and you can apply under employment. It would say leisure program counselor, and we would love to have you in. They come, I get to see them again. They tell me things like, you know, when I was a camper, all I wanted to do was be a counselor. And, you know, I've been waiting for 2 years to come back, and so it's really a pleasure to see them. And our veteran counselors who come back every year for, you know, 4, 5, 6. We have one gentleman who comes back, I think it'll be his 13th year.
My goodness.
Yeah, so.
One of the things I love about this too is that the ratio of counselor to kid is really, really good. So your kid's not lost in the shuffle of a bunch of other kids.
No, and they each have particular groups.
Right.
So it's not like everybody comes in and, you know, everybody for themselves kind of a thing. We have a counselor who has 8 children in their group. And a parent knows exactly who to speak with every day, who to communicate with. They're going to sign their children in, sign their children out with that counselor, give any information that needs to be given back and forth about the child, about either their night or if something had happened that made them upset, just so everybody knows what's going on. And it really builds a nice bond between our counselors and our parents, and they know who to depend on, they know who to look to, and the kids like it that way too. I mean, bonds really do grow very quickly at camp.
Right, they always look up to the high school kids
Yeah,
at that
they
age.
do. And the college kids, you know,
Right.
because and we have adults that are our counselors and directors as well, and they're great mentors for the kids, so we love it.
Fantastic. So again, we can't stress enough that get registered as soon as you
Get
can.
registered as soon as you can. It fills very quickly. Apply for a job as soon as you can, because I'm always looking for outstanding young people who want to, you know, help and mentor the youth of Barnstable, because I believe in camp, and, you know, I think it's great for every kid, and I think that it makes a world of difference. So the kind of bonds you can make at camp, you really can't make many other places. So my suggestion is, get out there, 7 weeks, fun in the sun, and join us, you know.
Right, Barnstable Summer Leisure Program.
Yes.
Think summer.
I will think summer. Think summer. It's warm this week, so it's easier. Thank you.
Up next, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. See a large selection of unique, custom, limited production sail and power boats in both wood and fiberglass at the 13th Annual Boat Builders Show on Cape Cod this weekend. Sail on over to boatcapecod.org for all the details. Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram, email us, or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works for you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.